This is what happens when the fourth turning meets fifth generation warfare.
A commentator, international social media sensation, and former Navy intelligence veteran.
This is Human Events with your host, Jack Posobiec.
Christ is king.
Sunday's vote was the first clear sign that a bipartisan deal had been reached after a roughly 40-day stalemate. The Senate voted 60-40 to back a revamped GOP funding bill that would keep the government open until the end of January. 8 Democrats joined Republicans to pass the bill, including Senate Minority Whip Dick Durbin, Senators Tim Kaine, Catherine Cortez Masto, and Jackie Rosen, among others.
Overnight, the aviation industry facing its worst day of cancellations since the shutdown began.
I was coming from Tampa, and that flight got delayed, then it was canceled.
Almost 8% of flights canceled as of Sunday night.
New backlash as the Trump administration moves forward with a plan to introduce 50-year mortgages. Over the weekend, Trump sharing this image comparing the proposal to the 30-year mortgage policies championed by FDR nearly a century ago. The move could potentially kickstart the now stagnant real estate market.
You said affordability was a home job, and you didn't want to, you said last night you didn't want to talk about affordability.
I talked about it. When did I not want to talk about it? I talk about it all the time. We are much better than Biden and all of them. Now, just so you understand, do you remember that the Biden administration had the highest inflation in 48 years, but most people say ever recorded? Do you remember that? Right? Do you remember it? Did they have the highest inflation in 48 years? Did they? Just answer me the question. You know the answer. The answer is yes.
In a social media post, President Trump says people who don't support tariffs are, quote, fools. Trump says the U.S. is taking in trillions of dollars and will soon start paying down $37 trillion in debt. He also says a dividend of at least $2,000 would be paid to everyone, but not including, quote, high-income people.
For 250 years, Marines have celebrated their birthday on November 10th. This day has always been a time to celebrate our history. But at every pivotal moment in our country's history, when our nation has needed the might of the Marine Corps, Marines have celebrated with a true fighting spirit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard today's edition of Human Events Daily, live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am here in Philadelphia, right where I grew up, on November 10th, 2025, Anno Domini. And why are we here today? Because I'm not the only one from the Philadelphia area. Because today is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps, which was born right here in Philadelphia, not very far from where I sit right now. Now, we're down here at Penn's Landing, and if you hear the cacophony around me, that's because I'm at a gathering of Marines who are Vietnam veterans that are here celebrating their, I believe it's their 41st reunion that they've come together. Their entire company has come out, and we're going to be on with some of the generals, actually, Marine generals that served in Vietnam that are here today, and I'm so gracious and honored to even be invited to cover an event like this. But let me tell you a little something about the story of the founding. So back in Philadelphia, remember the Second Continental Congress is getting done. This is even before the Declaration of Independence. The Marine Corps is actually older than the country itself. The resolution was approved on November 10th, 1775, dedicating a landing force to serve at sea and on shore. That resolution was approved November 10th, 1775 by the Second Continental Congress, which is, of course, right down the street from where we are at. And if you see right behind me, you can actually see the great battleship New Jersey, and that's the Delaware River across. You're looking into Camden, New Jersey right there. First Commandant of the Marine Corps was Samuel Nichols. The resolution commissioned him, who was a prominent local innkeeper, as the first Commandant and captain of the newly formed Marine Corps. Now, this is the part where it gets really good. Right down here, just blocks away from where I'm sitting, at an alley near Penn's Landing on the corner of Water Street and Tun Alley, there was an establishment called Tun Tavern. And Tun Tavern, which was owned by Nicholas's friend, Robert Mullen, he went in there and he walked in to this tavern that evening, which they saw as a natural gathering place for the colonists, for the Americans. And, of course, as the story goes, he walked in looking I went into that tavern on that night, November 10, 1775, and said, we're looking for a few good men to serve in the Marine Corps of the United States of America. And, of course, hundreds of men, 300 men by March, joined up for the United States Marine Corps, where the very first recruiting drive was held in a tavern just blocks away. And you can imagine the colonists sitting there pounding their ale saying, you know something, we're going to get in there. We're going to go and get in the fight. That's the people of Philadelphia. That's the people of the United States Marine Corps. Those are the men that founded this country. The United States was not founded through debate society. The United States was not founded by people, just arguing out in the marketplace of free ideas. No, the United States of America was founded by men of action. And when George Washington was looking for men of action, who did he turn to? He turned to the United States Marine Corps. And when you look at our country, and when our country has faced its darkest hours, its darkest moments, whether those moments were here at home, like the battle for our own revolution, our own independence, War of 1812, World War I, World War II, who did the United States turn to in all those times? It was the United States Marine Corps. And yes, even in Vietnam, and we're going to talk about Vietnam today because we're here with the Vietnam veterans, and we're going to talk about the fact that the amount of KIAs, and we were at the memorial service, which was held this morning outside of the Vietnam Memorial, the amount of KIAs with this unit, and I've got the brochure, it's over here. I was showing it this morning on War Room. 7 pages, single-spaced, of men killed in action. We need to take it seriously because there's nothing more serious and there's nothing more deadly than a Marine in combat. We're right back. Jack Posobiec, live, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.